message. And the progress that has been made, that people refer to under the RPF and so on and so forth, yes, in fact, happened. Even the liberation itself happened with the young people taking responsibility for all that. Even when I became president, I think I was still in my 30s. And the others who are everywhere doing different important things are much younger than me. So I'm only telling them that it is now that you young people should be thinking about this responsibility you have to yourselves and to the country. So that is, and again, it actually links with the second question you've asked. Once people grow up understanding their responsibilities and that things that don't happen or that you don't wait until somebody else comes to your rescue and helps you on different things. It is that group of people that from whom there will emerge leaders who step forward and even be leaders of this country and one way or another. And with the sense of responsibility comes the understanding of the story where you have come from and where you are and where you want to be. So if there has been some level of success with my leadership, it can't be me alone, but also it doesn't mean that it is only me alone that can succeed as we lead this country. So it just comes from that conversation, it comes from the experience and what you see, the results, and the moment you go through a number of years following the story and associating the message with the results, I think many people are formed by that and are helped by that to go beyond just the ordinary and thinking they are there just to be led, but also can aspire to lead. That's what gives, otherwise there is no mathematical formula that you can apply and say this and this and this and this put together, you will always come out like that. So this is why I'm saying I cannot tell what is going to happen when the current crop of leaders, whether it is the RPF or government, that what will follow will either be a disaster or will be better, or I have no formula to, and I think nobody has that formula anywhere, whether here or anywhere else. But you keep investing the right way. You invest in people, like through education, for people to have good health and to have, but also to have clarity of mind as to what countries, people, societies are, and what these real aspirations are. And that they are the only ones, they are mainly the ones who can make things happen. So I have no other way of foretelling what, but I try to do what I think matters in preparation for the future by the people that are around, especially the young people who, and what I see encourages me now when throughout the campaigns and campaign rallies, I think you can see people and feel assured that they are there for a purpose, they know what they are doing, maybe, and they will do it when that time comes.
VOA.
Hello, Mr. President. My name is Mariama Diallo. I'm the Nairobi Bureau Chief for VOA. So a lot of my questions have been asked, but I do want to follow up on that, the post-Kagame era. You just talked about leaders come and go, but good leaders also plan. So you talk about your party haven't been able to find somebody, but my question to you is, would you be participating in grooming that next person who's going to be here to continue the work that you've done? My second question has to do with what just happened in Kenya with President Ruto. You were just there recently participating in the African Development Bank meeting. So I'm just curious to know, have you spoken to President Ruto about the recent event that has happened in his country? Given that the issue that he's dealing with has to do with Gen Zs, the youth, and their preoccupation. And I think that's not an issue just to Kenya. It's, are you worried about something like that could have repercussions in the region? I just covered elections in Senegal, and those young people had the same issues that the Kenyan youth has, which is the high cost of living, basically jobs. So just wondering for you what you think about the events that have happened in Kenya, and are you worried that it could spread in the region? Thank you.
Yeah, but I think the first question has really more or less been answered. But let me add, I don't like this whole idea of grooming. Grooming focuses on one person or another. I prefer doing it generally. Like when I talked about encouraging young people and government making investments in their future, like education, like business, their health, their and so on and so forth. And then that part of politics always being there, reminding them, hey, you guys wake up. This is your responsibility. You can't just be there. So from among them, one or two, or whatever number you want, among these people, there will always be somebody to play that role. You would be grooming somebody, a specific person for. This is why I told the party last time, recently, that, in fact, I told them openly, it's like maybe you were even listening to me, but the question was answered then. I told them, I said, I'm not going to name anybody for you to lead you. You be the ones to look for somebody to lead you from among us. These people sitting here, we were about 3,000 in this, some other place where there is a big conference hall. And I was telling everybody, I said, I'm not going to anoint somebody for you. You be the ones, you keep looking around and appreciating people and doing that, and from that bunch of people, you should have a leader you want but not the leader you point a finger at and say, this is going to be your leader. Actually, that is a recipe for maybe the disaster you keep referring to, after me, after me. I don't want to leave somebody and leave a disaster for the people after me. So if they choose the disaster, it will be their disaster they have chosen, not the one I have given them. I don't want to be associated with that. So there is, but once you, the politics, and then doing the things that matter to people, but once you interest people in politics and they become part of it, they always have somebody, fairly and maybe justifiably chosen from among them to lead. So then what you said about, I don't very much like, again, talking about other countries or other societies and what they have, whether it is progress or it is problems or whatever. People will always emerge out of that and they address their own problems. So that Gen Z you're talking about that should not always be associated with being part of the problem, where things explode and no. No, actually they should be part of preventing that by, but of course I fully understand what that means. It all comes down to politics. If these young people are involved from the beginning and a culture grows where the young people participate and in the good politics of any country, then they don't end up just being, people demonstrating on the streets, destroying this or that. No, they actually end up being part of a situation or creating it that prevents that from happening. And that, therefore, that calls for them to be linked right from the beginning with the politics and even above, where the higher leadership is, down to that level of this generation, there must be communication that enables them to, and so that things they complain about don't happen in one incident, in one explosion of things. And but that flow of grievances happens in the daily life, and then there is always going to be a way of addressing that, and therefore preventing some disasters from happening. Otherwise, I always keep off other people's affairs. I have no lessons for anybody. I'm stuck with my own problems, trying to deal with them on a daily basis. So I can't add on that burden of even assuming too much that I have an answer for other people's problems. So but every situation has problems, but there is also a way to address those problems. But it is the people of any country that really have to deal with that.
Thank you, sir. We can take two last questions.
But there are some people on your left who are up there asking.
We are balancing both sides so that everyone does not feel left out. We could go to Genoa.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency. I'm Ji Li from Xinhua News Agency, the China state media. So my question related with China. Since Rwanda and China established diplomatic relations, the bilateral relationship has been remarkable development, with cooperation deepening in various fields. So how do you evaluate the achievements of the bilateral relationship over the past 50 years? And in which areas do you expect further cooperation between the two countries in the future? Thank you.
We have had a good relationship with China, and we want to keep it so. We have not had actually problems with China at all. That doesn't mean we agree on everything. Sometimes we disagree or we agree, but when you disagree and there is a channel of communication to each side, it's understanding or grievances, if it amounts to that, it always is a good relationship. And we have a good relationship with many other countries, whether in Asia or the West. And it is a principled relationship we always insist on. We have had, of course, relationships where some people want to be overbearing and they're telling you, you must do this, you have to do this, you shouldn't do this. And we have been in a very good position and have learned through experience. We politely but firmly tell people that we also have ideas about what we want and how we want the relationship to be and what we want in that relationship. And some we have agreed and it has caused problems, others it doesn't cause problems. Even with those who don't understand and it causes problems, we are happy to go along and even do the same next time. On this one, so far, we are firm about what our country wants, what we are doing, and we happily tell anybody who thinks they can come riding over us to tell them that they've made a mistake.
Al Jazeera. It's coming to you.
Life Mushtaq from Al Jazeera. Back to the same report you mentioned before, Your Excellency, about issued by United Nations, was covering two things: the mining and the military situation in east of Congo. And 4 days later, there is a statement from State Department of United States was focusing on the mining. In your point of view, Your Excellency, why both the report and the statement, they just overlook the political situation? Thank you.
Well, that is really a question I can't answer in 100. So why they would be talking about that and not about themselves, I don't even understand. So that one, how can I answer that? Then you have a group of experts, you said, talking about what? Mining and military situation. Military situation, the way they talk about it, they talk about maybe 15% of the problem. Even then, they don't put facts or evidence to it. This is why I think I explained it. If you are talking about RPF, Rwandan Defense Forces, and M23, and you are silent, I think I answered that, and you are silent about FDLR, and you are silent about the government of Congo expelling its own people from the country to go somewhere else, using these genociders who were here, who killed our people. How can I answer that honestly? I mean, you should be able to make that judgment yourself, or anybody here who sees that should be able to make the judgment. It's not up to me to answer that. I don't know how to answer it. I don't know how to answer that somebody is associated with the problem and is saying it the way they want people to see it or to understand it. I have no answer for that. I can't explain it. They should be the ones to explain it. In fact, I wish one day you could meet those people and ask them. I say, why you? Is it because this is not happening? Or is it because it is not there? That you are silent about it, that you are talking about something else, that either is less important or actually is not happening, or if it was happening, it is happening for that reason you are silent about. Then they are the ones who can explain it better than myself. But we have told all of them, maybe you have also seen how we have responded to some of it. But we have told them that by that they have only become part of the problem, and they are not anywhere near being part of the solution. But I thought we must be having or looking at finding ways to have a solution to that problem. But if you handle it like that, you are not finding a solution. Rather, you are adding to the problem or even complicating it even more.
Thank you, sir. We'll take the last question now from RBA.
Two more questions. If we could do quickly, we could have another two.
Another two after RBA? Okay.
Murakoze cyane, nitwa Jean Claude Mutuyezu, umunyamukuru wa RBA. Mu minsi mumaze mwiyamamaza mwakunze kugaruka ku mvugo ivuga yuko iyi politiki yo kwiyamamaza n'ubundi yihariye cyane ko FPR yagiye ifatanya n'indi mitwe ya politiki. Munagaruka cyane ku bijyanye n'ubudasa bw'Abanyarwanda. Ese ubu budasa twavuga ko buva kuki? Nanone twibaza ngo muri manda ikurikiyeho ni ibiki muteganyiriza Abanyarwanda bijyanye n'imvugo mukunze kugarukaho cyane y'ubudasa? Murakoze cyane.
Ubudasa buturuka ku mateka. Ni amateka mbivuga buri munsi. Ni amateka biturukaho u Rwanda aho ruvuye, byarubayeho, hanyuma uko abantu babisohokamo. U Rwanda rw'amateka y'amacakubiri n'u Rwanda rushyira Abanyarwanda bose hamwe n'ibintu bitandukanye. Muri uko gushyira abantu bose hamwe rero, bahera ku mateka mabi bakareba icyo u Rwanda rushyira abantu hamwe rukora kugira ngo Abanyarwanda bose bibone mu bikorwa no mu bibageraho. Ibyo ubwabyo bisobanura bwa budasa. Ni nayo mpamvu ndetse aho twagiye tujya kwiyamamaza hose abantu baza ari benshi, inshuro 10 zirenga n'iki, baza ari benshi bavuga, ubona bitabiriye iki kintu kimwe. Ugomba gutekereza nyine ukavuga uti aba bantu bagomba kuba bumva neza aho tuvuye, bumva neza aho dushaka kujya. Icyo batora rero ni iyo nzira ibaganisha aho bashaka kujya kandi bose. Iyo bimeze bityo ibindi byose ni ubusa. Umuntu uhagarara ikantarange akavuga ati hari umuntu babujije kuvuga biki, hari ibihumbi magana ngahe byahoze biri aho bivuga, ibyo ni ugukora ubusa, uranabyihorera ugakomeza. So abanyarwanda rero icyo bashaka barakizi bo, baracyerekana ari mu bikorwa, ntabwo ari n'ibikorwa by'amatora gusa, ahubwo biriya bikorwa by'amajyambere bigenda bibaho bikorwa n'abanyarwanda. Abanyarwanda bitabira buri kintu cyose, iyo bahaye uburyo barabukoresha bakagera ku byo bifuza. Abo ngabo rero iyo bakubwiye icyo bashaka nicyo ukora, kuko ni ibyabo. So ntabwo numva rero mu manda yindi ikindi se cyaba iki kitari ugukomeza ibyo dusanzwe dukora nyine, ibyo by'iterambere, by'umutekano n'imiyoborere myiza. Demokarasi n'ikivuze, demokarasi bivuze imiyoborere myiza, guhitamo abantu bakagera ku cyo bashaka, nicyo tugerageza gushyira ku murongo. N'ibyo bikomeza, nta bindi bishya byaturutse ahandi dushaka gukora.
Scovia.
Murakoze nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, nitwa Scovia Mutesi, ndi umwanditsi w'ikinyamakuru Mama urwa Gasabo. Bigaragara ko abanyarwanda bamaze guhamagarirwa kujya mu bigo by'imari mu kwizigama, ariko hashize igihe Minisiteri y'Ubucuruzi n'Inganda ndetse na Minisiteri y'Imari bavuga ko hari uburyo abantu babaga muri Banque Populaire bafitemo imigabane iza kugurishwa ikigo cy'imari aho kugira ngo ikomeze iby'abaturage, imigabane yabo ntibayihabwa. Imyaka irenga 2 babaza iki kibazo batarabona igisubizo. Bifuzaga niba hari icyo mushobora kubafasha bakabona imigabane yabo cyangwa bakajya muri iyo banke y'ubucuruzi bagurishirijwe. Murakoze nyakubahwa.
Yes, icyo nagusezeranya cyo, reka tuve muri ibi ngibi tubanze twicare mu ntebe neza, nibirangira byose byarangiye tugiye dusubiye muri leta, icyo tuzagiheraho. Ntabwo numva aho gikomerera kuba kitarangira, icyo rwose kizaba mu bya mbere bizakemurwa. Kabineti ya mbere nuyibona uzanyibuza, uzanyoherereza SMS mbwira uti hari cya kibazo, tuzagiheraho mu byo tuzaheraho.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We may conclude here. I would like to thank you for your time and wish you a successful voting day on Monday. Thank you.
I hope there are not too many questions going back without being asked. So
I think you covered all the questions.
See you next time.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you so much, Mr. President, for this time. There has been noticeable increase in the genocide denial globally, and with media outlets adopting narratives from figures like Victor Ingabire, Charles Onana, Jambo Isbel, and this is affecting actually remarkably the younger generation. How, now that you are running for another term, how are you going to tackle these issues? And mu Kinyarwanda nifuzaga kubariza abanyarwanda baturiye imirenge itandukanye mu ntara, twarabonye ibikorwa byinshi cyane mwagiye mukorera abanyarwanda, aho uturere tugenda duhura n'utundi duturana mu buhahirane hakoreshejwe imihanda iri gutone, ariko hari imirenge myinshi cyane itarabasha guhura n'indi kugira ngo bahahirane mu buryo bworoshye, bahura n'ivumbi cyangwa se abandi bataba bafite n'amazi. Ibi byo muteganya kubikoraho iki, ese bizaba vuba?
Well, ibyo by'imihanda n'ibiki rwose biri kuri gahunda. Ibitarakorwa nuko tutarabona neza ubushobozi. Ibyo dushaka gukora n'ubushobozi bwacu ntibingana, ariko biratinda ntibihera, bigeraho bigakorwa, n'ibyo bizakorwa. Nasezeranya ko bizakorwa ibyo byose. Iyo gahunda wavuze ko yatangiye niko izakomeza kandi zihutishwa ahubwo kurushaho, kubera ko duhora dushakisha amikoro ku buryo byashobora no kwihuta. Ibijyanye na genocide deniers, abo bariho, ingaruka zabyo tujye tuzirwanya ku buryo bitagira uwo bihutaza, ndetse abatoya mujye mubyanga mubishyira hanze. Ibyo birahari bishyigikiwe n'abantu bamwe hanze, n'iki birirwa basakuza, ariko nicyo nababwiraga, hari ubwo basakuza ngo baguteshe umurongo uve ku byo wakoraga ujye muri ibyo bitagira icyo, kandi bamwe baranashyigikiwe, bashyigikiwe n'ibihugu cyangwa imiryango cyangwa iki bifite ubushobozi, ariko icyo dufitiye ubushobozi twebwe ni uko ibyo ngibyo ntacyo byadukoraho hano na kimwe. Naho aba bandi ba Ingabire n'abandi bandi, Ingabire suye ariko twarekuye, twagiriye imbabazi akava mu gufungwa, yari afunzwe, n'ubu aba akirimo, ariko hasohokeye niyo neza yitura abanyarwanda. Buriya amaherezo yo ntabwo azaba meza, uramwihorera akarwana n'ikimurimo kibi, kikaba aricyo kimugiraho ingaruka. N'abandi abo bose babonana, baba mu Bufaransa, baba hehe, birirwa basakuza, bariya mwebwe babatwaye iki? Muzabareke, niko bameze, muzabake bapfa urwo bapfuye, ntayo bakwiriye hari abo bakorana nabo nk'ibi twahoze tuvuga by'intambara zo muri Eastern Congo n'ibindi. Iki gihugu cya Congo kirabafasha, kibagira gite, ariko iyo bigeze aho uboneho tubijyamo, ariko muzi ko nabyo bafite aho bagarukira, ntabwo bageraho bigira ingaruka ku banyarwanda gusa gutyo. Icyo gihe iyo byageze aho nyine ikibazo gishakirwa undi muti. Ntacyo nibwira cyahungabanya igihugu cyacu cyangwa abanyarwanda kuri abo ngabo bifuriza u Rwanda nabi cyangwa bavuga nabi, ntibikabatesha umwanya ngo bibaraze ijoro ry'ubusa. Mujye mubasubiza, ariko iyo bavuga ibitari byo mubasubize, ariko barenze umurongo bakagira ikindi bakora, ibyo byo ingaruka zabyo zirahari, ntacyo bashobora kugeraho.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
All right.
Hi, everyone. There's some snacks outside the room, so feel free.